I started the Enchanted Book Club in 2021, and really it was my last ditch effort to try to figure out a way how to monetize and make a living off of my love for literature. I had started on Bookstagram, posting photos of my classic book collections and cultivated an audience of people that love these stories as much as I did. And the audience was growing and growing, and a lot of people, I think, on Instagram believe that once you get an audience of a certain size, you can partner with brands and do brand deals, and that's kind of the way that you monetize. But publishers really don't compensate readers. They compensate them with books to read, which is lovely for a reader, but also does not pay bills. And so I was putting in so much work and effort and love and creativity into the community I was creating. And it was just getting to a point where I didn't feel like I could justify the amount of time that I was putting in without figuring out a way to have it support me. So, what I did was I thought, well, I think I need to do something pretty different and pretty unique then, since I can't go about this the usual way of partnering with brands. So, I just looked up online ways to make money online and just read an article, all the different ways. You can do products and digital downloads and all these different things. But one thing that I thought was interesting was a membership website. And I thought, book club members, membership would that work? Would people pay to be in a book club? And then I thought, well, why would I pay to be in a book club? And I thought, well, to get access to cool and different things. And so I just started thinking about the ultimate book club experience that I would want to provide people that was very representative of the style that I had already created on Instagram. And I put out a survey to my audience and said, hey, I have this idea. Here's what it would include. Here's what it would be like. Would you be interested? And I felt like if I got enough people interested, I would at least try. And there was enough people that were interested in the survey, so I went for it. I launched in January 2021, and it's been growing ever since.
So you said at one point you were like, okay, I have this following. How do I monetize it? Tell me about your following at that point. Are we talking just about Instagram? Tell me not just your following, like number of followers, but also your engagement, where you were like, okay, I think I can turn this into something. Like, what did that look like?
So at that time, I probably had around 40,000 followers, I would say, on Instagram. I had a blog that was more lifestyle leaning, but definitely included some literary content. I was getting probably around 10,000 views on that a month. And I had a newsletter as well that did fairly well. The algorithm on Instagram constantly changing. So at that time, it was pretty excellent. I mean, I was getting anywhere from 5 to 10,000 likes a photo with 40,000
Wow.
followers.
That's a lot. That's crazy
It
engagement.
was. It was. And I knew it was because of the love that people have for these books. I knew that it was something really special that was happening because we all shared a love of these authors and these stories. And what could I do with that? And I even tried to explain to brands, like, look, we could partner on this different product and integrate it into the reading experience. You would really benefit from tapping into the passion that people have for reading. And brands would go, well, our product has nothing to do with books. Never mind, which I thought was really interesting.
Very
So
closed-minded. Like
yeah.
that's a miss, brands. That's a big miss.
So
And if you're not watching this on YouTube and you're listening to this on the podcast, you got to pop over to YouTube to see Hayley's setup. Like I've never seen a more beautiful image on Zoom before. And like I told you before, it's very on brand because you don't just pick any books. Like I'm in a few book clubs, and one of them is the Creepy Book Club, and we only read thrillers. Your niche is in those classics. Like I see Little Women, The Wizard of Oz, Anne of Green Gables, and even your brand, like with the floral wallpaper and the chair, and even your freaking dress and your earrings down to your earrings. Like you are a walking brand of like the classics, like old school Bridgerton kind of vibe, right?
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. And the reason why I love these stories is yes, they're classics, but they're so timeless. We can learn so much of them as modern day women. And that's a part of what we offer to our community members is how do we draw inspiration from these stories that these women wrote so long ago and apply them to our own lives and learn lessons from them because these were trailblazing women.
And tell me about how you launched. So you sent out a survey. First of all, how did you get people's email address?
I actually just put the survey itself as a one-off in my stories and in my feed. I said, hey, go to link in my bio. I have this idea. So I did it that way. I did send it out in my newsletter as well. But as far as getting people to get onto my newsletter, I had a printable bookmark incentive, really pretty bookmarks you could print and cut out. So I sent that survey in October of 2020. And within a week, I knew that I needed to get to work to try to launch in January.
A lot of people said, "Yeah, I'll join your book club." At that time, did you know it was going to be $15 a month and 150 a year?
No, I started really, really conservative because I had never done this before. I had never conducted an interview, and I said, I'm going to interview authors on Zoom. And I knew I could do it because I had a vision for it, and I feel like I have a concept of how I like stories to unfold. So I knew I'd be able to do it, but I was so nervous. And I just thought, let me just keep this really, really low to start. It was $10 to start and there was no annual offering at all. It was $10, I think, for probably about 6 months. And then I raised it to 12, still no annual offering. And it wasn't about till like maybe a year and a half or 2 years in that I met with a PR company to just get some ideas how to put myself out there. And they looked at my website and they said, you need to be charging more. What you're offering is extremely high quality, it's extremely niche and really special. Up it to 15, do an annual offering. I said, really? And I was still learning and gaining confidence in this business that I was creating, but it really helped to have an authority figure of sorts tell me, hey, we see what you're doing and it's great, and you need to set the value appropriately.
So, how many members did you have when you started? Like when you first did your launch and said, "Hey, come join the Enchanted Book Club." How many joined on that first ask?
The first ask was probably about 75.
That's
And
so many.
it was exciting. I didn't know what to expect. I mean, there was a lot more on the survey, honestly, that said they were interested, but you always have to go, okay, it's only going to be a percentage of people who actually act on that. So it was 75 at the time, and I was thrilled. I said, let's go, let's do this, let's see how it goes.
And how many do you have now?
We have almost 800.
Holy smokes, 800 members. And your book club, you guys don't just meet once a month to talk about books. Like you do a hell of a lot more than your average book club. So tell me about your favorite parts of the book club in addition to like we're reading this book this month and we're going to chat about it.
So my vision for it was I wanted a place where women could come and be inspired and meet friends and just kind of relax and do something for themselves. And I often saw a lot of women online saying things like, "Oh, I would love to join a book club. I just don't have time." And I mean, that's the same for a lot of people. We're busy. We have things to do. I don't have time to read a book every month and then be prepared to talk about it. That's just not going to work in my schedule. So I wanted to create a sort of build your own book club experience, meaning we have a large percentage of our members who never read the book selections at all and never actually go to our discussions to talk about the books because we offer so many other things that keep their hearts connected to the stories that they love so much. So, one of my absolute favorite parts and a real fan favorite for our members is I interview authors on Zoom. Every month, we usually do two, and it could be a best-selling author, it could be a descendant of a classic author that we love, a literary scholar, and it's fascinating. We learn so much from these women. They're amazing. So that's one of my absolute favorite parts. But in 2023, we added literary travel to our offerings, and that has been such a thrill to literally step into the books alongside this community of people who understand why you care about these books. We get women going on these trips saying, I could never take my husband to this because he just wouldn't understand. Or I have friends, but they don't care about Little Women. So if I brought them here, they would be nice, but they wouldn't be crying in Louisa May Alcott's bedroom with me like you are. So it's just really special.
Give me an example of a trip, like where you went and why.
So we went to Concord, Massachusetts in April of last year. That's where Little Women was written and takes place. And that one was particularly special to me because we try to make our tours very intimate, but Concord is a town that is quite small, yet conducive to a larger group because of the literary landmarks are large enough to have a larger group touring them. So we kind of took over a whole hotel and did all these tours. We went to Walden Pond, we had a picnic there. We went out to Boston and went to this beautiful bookstore, Beacon Hill Books. We went to, of course, Louisa May Alcott's house, and we were able to get 50 women from all over North America to come ages 20 to 70. And it was like the most beautiful thing to witness all of these strangers. Nearly all of, we had two sisters and then a mother and daughter, and those were the only people who had known each other first before flying out on their own and meeting these people they had never met. And you're looking around, and instantly the friendships, the laughter, the feeling of introverts being able to be more extroverted and comfortable and sharing their hearts with each other, witnessing those friendships develop and knowing that it was because Louisa May Alcott wrote Little Women all those years ago. So beautiful.
That is so cool. I've been to, my husband's Canadian. He's from Nova Scotia. And when I visit, when we go back and visit his home, sometimes we take the ferry to Prince Edward Island. And they have a big Anna Green Gables situation in Prince Edward Island. And that would be a great spot.
It's, I mean, unbelievable because you read Anne of Green Gables and you go, yes, I am literally in this book right now. You wrote about this so accurately. It's so enchanting. And something really special that happened on that trip is we were able to see the original Anne of Green Gables manuscript. We saw like her edits, what Diana's original name was, and that crossed out, and just all of these famous iconic lines, like when Gilbert calls Anne carrots and seeing that in her own handwriting. Oh, it was amazing.
How do you decide which book to pick for your book club?
Well, we actually do read some new books. So we're very focused on classics overall, but the themes of classics like timelessness and charm and just sheer delight, we try to find contemporary works that have those same themes. So we do read some historical fiction. We love the Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society. If you haven't read that one, it's very good. We have read. This wasn't an actual selection, but we interviewed her and it will be a future selection. Finding Margaret Fuller, that is a historical fiction novel, and it's about a woman that Louisa May Alcott looked up to when she was a child. So we do read some contemporary. And as far as choosing, I think a lot about season. So February, I think about Valentine's Day. We usually read a love story. March and April, I think about spring. Summer, I try not to do anything too heavy, something really light to read by the pool. And I also really love doing themes in addition to considering the season. So, for example, in April, we are doing journaling month, and we are going to read a book that is written in journal entries. We're going to have journaling prompts. We're going to have a coupon code to get beautiful journals that we can write in. We're going to meet with an author who wrote a book called Secret Voices, A Year of Women's Diaries, and talk about women throughout history and how they really were able to confide in their diaries when they weren't able to share their emotions with anyone else a long time ago. So we dive into different themes like that.
Is this something where you're like, yeah, I can leave my job and make this my job?
So I've always done independent contractor work, and I, at the time, had clients helping them with their social media presence. And I had, gosh, probably three or four clients at the time. And as the book club has continued on, I have had less and less clients kind of say, hey, this is working out for me, and end some of those contracts accordingly. So now I just have one client that I work with sort of on a project basis if something comes up, but this is really my full time at this point.
Well, it sounds crazy busy. Like even just planning the trips. Do you do all of that yourself or do you bring in help for that?
I have help planning the trips. I partner with travel agencies that are located in the areas that we're going to be visiting. And I do a lot of vetting and make sure that they understand the ethos of the book club, the style, why we're doing what we're doing, so that it's not just a generic itinerary. It really has our special touches. I collaborate with them. They bring me an itinerary. I do my own research, look at maps and go, okay, we're going to be passing through here. Can we add this? It's a very collaborative process. So I do have help, but it still is a lot of work to plan it.
Yeah, that's a lot of work. How many trips do you guys go on?
We usually do two a year.
What would you suggest to somebody who wants to turn their bookish passion into profits?
Be creative. Don't be afraid to be unconventional. when like I said, I didn't know what to do, so I just looked up how to make money online. I didn't look up how to make money using my love of literature online. I just looked at what all of the options could possibly be and tried to use my creativity to apply those options in a field that I was very interested in. With social media now, there's a lot more options, as we know. Try to build an audience that can't hurt. It might not be necessary 100% for what you decide to do, but it may be very helpful when it comes time to try to pursue whatever idea you might have. So build an audience if you can and just look up some ideas. How do you earn money on your own accord and apply that to your love of literature?
But do you also dabble in TikTok or any of the other social media?
I really don't. I am interested in YouTube because I love how personal it is. I do really like the creative aspect. I love video editing. I think visually it would be really fun to show my books and things like that. But that is the one thing where I think about adding that on my plate. I'm like, I don't think I can do it. The sheer amount of time and the quality of what I'd want to produce. I don't think that I can do it at this point on a regular basis. I did post my first YouTube video last year after we went to Prince Edward Island, and it's a vlog of the experience. And so when people wonder what a trip is like, I can send them that. But that was very time consuming to put together.
Yeah, it is time consuming. Like video, while it is the most engaging for people, it's also the most time consuming if you do it well. Haley, is there anything else you want to add that I should have asked about your bookish business?
I would just say, if anyone's listening that has a dream of working in this industry in any capacity, to hold on to it, because I literally, when I went online to look for ways to earn money online, I felt like if I do not find something and it does not work, I can't do this as much anymore. This is just going to be a hobby forever. I can't justify putting this much time into taking these photos and editing them and writing newsletters and all these things completely for free. I just can't do it. And then I found this, and now I get to do this full time. And I get to go to these places from these books with kindred spirits from all over the world. And I was so close to just saying, I can't do it. I can't do it. There's nothing out there for me. So hold on to that dream. Like so many of your favorite authors have. I mean, some of your favorite books would not exist if it weren't for the writer that was holding on to their dream. So I hope that that is inspiring to whoever is listening.
How long did you do it as a hobby before you monetized it?
Let's see. I mean, I joined Instagram in 2013, and at that time it was very much like lifestyle.
Right. It wasn't Bookstagram
It
yet.
wasn't Bookstagram yet. It became Bookstagram, I would say, in 2018. So
Okay.
I
So
was
about 3 years.
yeah, 3 years of Bookstagram and finding that niche. But it was 5 years before that I even
Right.
figured out that was going to be the niche.
In the show notes, we'll have all of your contact information, links to the Enchanted Book Club, and all of the things.
Thank you so much.